Good morning. It is August 7th, 2022 in Cottonwood in the Verde Valley, and this is my summer garden update. I'm just going to give a little tour of what is currently growing. So this area in front of us is the melon patch, and we are getting lots and lots of big melons everywhere. I've been collecting up giant watermelons and cantaloupes for about the last month or so. So we didn't get quite as much monsoon rain as last summer, so it's been a little drier, a little more irrigation has been needed, but some things are thriving. The melons for one, and then this here is the Roselle hibiscus. Last year I did it in the garden beds. This year I planted it in the ground and it looks extremely happy. So that's not something to harvest until probably November, but at this point it's looking pretty happy and healthy. Okay, let's go through here. We've been having a crazy ant problem too, which we did not have last year. Here's another giant watermelon. Artichokes have died back. I don't know if they're going to come back. I'm going to save some of the seeds. We were getting a ton of those in the spring. Sunflowers are almost done, but the birds love them, so I'm leaving them up. Corn, I did get a little, and that's what was in this other in-the-ground bed, along with a lot of winter squash. I didn't get quite as much winter squash as last year, but it's starting to bounce back. Here's a bed of extra winter squash, and I've been getting spaghetti squash and a few other varieties. This bed is where I had the little chicken coop last year, or in the spring, and it had great fertilizer, so these pepper plants are probably the best thing going on here. There's tons and tons of giant peppers. Poblano and bell peppers mainly. Here's some of the reds. Really nice peppers. Might even have enough to can. The other thing that's doing nicely here is my okra. So you can see this is related to the Roselle hibiscus, and whatever, the weather is doing, it seems to be favoring these ones this year. We've had a few heat spells up to about 108, but mostly it's been in the mid 90s, so that's been pretty ideal. Let's see, okay, over here, this is the tomatoes, which were producing quite a bit about a month ago. Now they've kind of stopped, but I think with some fertilization and once it starts to cool down, they might bounce back, and hopefully we'll get another round of nice big tomatoes. I had saved some seeds from the local farmers market, and those actually did much better than the ones I had bought from the seed packets last year. Okay, this bed is more peppers that I did from seed. They're okay, but not anything like the other ones. Eggplant as well. There was eggplant in that bed with the peppers, and then this eggplant is coming along a little slower. This was cucumbers and they all died off. I'm not sure if it was my irrigation system or what, but I'm going to replant this. Okay. Pomegranates, I'm getting a lot of those. This tree is continuing to grow. This was zucchini. It kind of succumbed to the cucumber and squash beetles, so I trimmed it back, and we'll see if there's any life left in these, but chances are I'm going to be replanting. And sweet potatoes. These are doing great. These do wonderfully every year. I've got a whole bed of these, and I will be harvesting those probably in November as well. All right, beans drying. This is all going to come out probably pretty soon. Let's see. There's the sweet potatoes again. The apple tree is doing nicely. I planted that last fall. It's even got a couple of little apples in there. Somewhere down in here. Where are you? There they are. And this is a new bed. This year I've got some extra winter squash and gourds and things in here. So we'll see what becomes of those. The smaller beds were where my onions were. I just finished harvesting all of those, so there's nothing really in here now except a little calendula coming up. And actually, I think these are probably the Vitex chase tree, because I'm noticing those starts everywhere. I'm going to pull those out and give them away, or maybe replant them somewhere else. All the flowers along the outside of the bed are doing well. A little bit more hibiscus here. Figs for the first time. We're actually getting figs, and I've been mulching and fertilizing this tree, so it's starting to pay off. There's a little fig tree that came with the house. And hi, Magic. Persimmons are doing pretty well. We lost some of them to a late freeze, but for the most part, we're definitely going to get some. This is the big project area over here. This whole area is about to get walled and fenced off for an orchard. So we're very much looking forward to that. They've just broken ground on that, and I'm hoping we'll be getting a lot of trees in that area by this fall. Okay, there's the compost. And let's go around this way. This is just kind of a lot of flowers and overgrown things, some tomatillos, various herbs. Okay, and carrots that are doing pretty decently over here. I'll take you inside the greenhouse. It's kind of the big overview of where that orchard area is going to be. Pretty excited about that. Okay, and in the greenhouse, not much has changed, just sort of on maintenance. The greenhouse had some problems with the swamp coolers, so it got a little overheated a couple times, and I lost most of my lettuce, so I'm kind of, so these beds are currently empty. I just put some lettuce starts back in here. Got some Swiss chard. My hot peppers are doing well. Those have been going strong for 2.5 years. Eggplant, and this is my seedling racks. I've got a lot of things started. So I've got, let's see, a lot of lettuces. I've got my fall starts like Brussels sprouts, cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli, that sort of stuff already started now because I want to try to get those in September. And I'm trying some more cucumbers and things that I didn't really get enough of, and hoping that because we have such a long season that maybe I'll have a chance of getting some of those. All right, some tomatoes inside here did well. Starting to die back. I need to trim them. There's always things to trim and do. Some peppers that are doing nicely in here. More kale to replace the kale that went for about 2 years. The lemon lime, I'm getting my kumquats are coming back, which I was missing having, but this tree has suddenly produced a bunch of flowers and is now fruiting again. All of the herbs doing very well. Actually, there's one more thing I can show you on the other side of the garden, which is the bee house, because the bees have been doing wonderfully. I'm seeing tons of pollen coming in every day, even to the point where the first hive that I set up, I put a honey super on there. So we will see if it's possible that we're going to get any honey this summer. That would be great. Okay, here's the bee, here's the back. I like to, you approach the hives from the back. You don't want to get in their runway. And here they are. Look at them. They are so busy. Oh, hello, Magic again. There they are. Here, I'm going to try to zoom in on them so you can get a good look. See if we can see any pollen going in. Yep. So you see, you look on their legs and you look for the yellow, and that's all the pollen. And I'm seeing definitely pollen coming in. The second hive is a little smaller. That was, I put it in about a month later. This one is just going crazy. And there's the honey super, so it's got 3 boxes. That is pretty exciting. Anyway, that is what's going on in the garden this summer, and I will check in again in the fall. Take care.